reasons I love residential architecture is because, like Katherine says, you get to learn from your clients and really connect. You start a business relationship that winds up becoming long-term friends. I think also with our design build kind of model, we get to work with subcontractors and vendors that, you know, we have had one framer the whole time, and because he's framed every one of our houses, he's kind of like, you know, a big brother, you know, mixing up, you know, lunches for the crew and figuring things out. So I think, like, I used to work with another friend that did more commercial stuff, but you know, you just knew who your client really was, and you would go to committee meetings with constituents, but really, like, you know, okay, Ian's going to sleep in this room and he wants a loft because, you know, he wants to be a pirate. You know, and Madison is, you know, making origami and she wants a walk-in closet. And so being able to craft spaces and have those kind of exchanges is, you know, really rewarding. Makes everything fun.
Mm-hmm. And we do both design and construction. So sometimes we're just in the design role or the construction role, and even at that time we develop pretty strong relationships with clients. But if we do both, there's sort of a long-term relationship of trust and teamwork, and you get to really craft the space even more because of that sort of continuation of the relationship. I think that when you have a space that's really crafted, people understand that they can live in a different way. And I think, especially in our area, it's really nice to have these special pieces of architecture. There's a pretty strong design community and heritage there. And once people are exposed to a different way of living and kind of reinterpreting the way that you can live is really important. I think it also, if people are exposed to different spaces and arrangement of spaces, then they can start to also challenge kind of normal constructions or kind of communities of the way people live, and maybe we can create more density or think about putting houses on a site in a different way.
Actually, in our area, we do have a very public organization doing housing tours. In many cities, there's much of the public are interested, and certainly magazines and stuff help, but for a client or, you know, family to kind of visit a space, it gives them options. And basically gives them the ability to say they have choices. And so, you know, they don't come right away, maybe in a year or two or down the road, they engage in an architect because they saw something different. So I think residential architecture, you know, allows us as the creative people with our trades to create interesting spaces. It's not like a mitten, it's like a glove that's fitted for a particular family. But, you know, the more and more people see that there's options, then there's more and more different, you know, evolution for the type.
And I think if more people experience sort of a well-thought house or a well-designed house, then they'll sort of take those values into their public spaces as well. So they might challenge why certain buildings aren't as good as they could be, or why, you know, we wouldn't use thoughtful architecture in other realms. And it just kind of, I think it feeds itself. So.
I think, in particular, modern kind of residential construction also lends itself to a very intimate connection to the site, very indoor, outdoor. I know in the house I was in, that it has a two-story window where you can watch a squirrel run up to the trees, and then you could see the different seasons and the forest floor turn maroon, and you really kind of knew where you were. As opposed to the house I grew up in suburbia, you know, we had a door with a curtain that was locked away, and it's a different way of living and really engaging where you are. Well, I think there's efficiencies, but you know, design build is very much like hire an architect and then hire a builder, except there's one person to kind of, you know, call something's good or bad. But I think that the biggest advantage we can provide clients is different materials, different space organizations, and then also, You can affect the budgets. We did a house for literally almost, what is it, 300